there was a big controversy regarding the Rekevet HaKala. So the situation in Israel is this. You know, once again, many times I speak about this. By far and large, Israeli society is becoming frummer by the day. Demographics are at work. And it's not only demographics. Yes, there is backlash from the left. And obviously, there's going to be a new government, and the different parties will not be part of that government. I, as a Rosh Yeshiva and a Rosh Kollel, I'm worried. I'm worried because probably the funding for Kollalim will be cut. I'm very worried. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going bankrupt. By far and large, the trajectory is clear and the handwriting is on the wall. Israel is becoming frummer by the day, and nobody could stop that. So I am worried about the political climate in Israel, but I don't talk politics in public. But what I mean to say is Israel is a Yiddish Medina, fundamentally. However, major construction work on the national level must be performed on Shabbos, because the traffic on Shabbos is 60% lower than it is in the middle of the week. So you can't do major public construction in the middle of the week because that'll totally wreak havoc on the traffic. Shabbos people don't go to work. So many of moving heavy material from one place to the other, most of that stuff is being done on Shabbos. So some of the work on the Rekevet is being done on Shabbos. So some of the Bonim said, we could never use that train because of Maser Shabbos. People were Mechanel Shabbos, b'mezid, they were very well aware. And according to the opinions, that if they did Chilul Shabbos for us, then it's also for us, then we could never use that train. So in some areas, I say, we need to look for kulas and not for chumas. And when I say look for kulas, what I mean is what Chazal say, koicha de teira odef. There is no such a thing to fabricate kulas if they're not firmly based on halacha, on psak. But in some areas, it's not an Indian to look for chumas. So saying if from people could never use the train, first of all, it's knowing human nature, it's lo yamed boy. They won't listen to us, even if that would be the halacha. It wouldn't stand. Wouldn't stand. People use the train like they use the train in the entire world. And I definitely think that they could use the train al pi halacha. So besides of what I mentioned before, many great poskim that maintain Maser Shabbos is only lamisha chalelas Shabbos, misha bishel, misha drikat saner, achere motorim, even though it was done for them. I think einu the moisa dova she'einu shaloi, and the people that decided to work on Shabbos have no right to prevent us from using that train. So the very first source dealing with this question is the Mogen Avraham Reish Nun Gimel Siv Kot Lamed Ches, quoting the Or Zarua. People have maids and servants in their homes. So what happens if my servant cooked my food for me without my permission? I would kick him out of the house if I would see. But he's working in my kitchen and I wasn't sure, and he cooked a meal for me, my food. The Azarua says it's mutar. What is the reasoning? Not clear in Azarua, but Shulchan Aruch Harav on the spot, Reish Nun Gimel Sif Chofei says, Eino the Mazal of Hashem Shaloi. He has no right to ask my food on me. It's my food. It's not his food. If he decided to cook on Shabbos, how could he ask the food on me? Interesting, Shuban Imre Yosher, Chelak Aleph Sim Kuf Chav Tes. Imre Yosher was a Meir Arak, one of the greatest poskim in Galicia, pre-Holocaust. And he asked a very fundamental question. I know the Moshe Dov Shen Shloy is only Bedova Shetoli B'Machshav. Like Avodah Zorah. He's over the Avodah Zorah, he bowed down to my object, can't answer, because that's something that's Toli Belev, Toli B'Machshava. If he killed my animal, it's still Nevela. We can't say Ein Odom Bedova Shen Shloy. If he mixed Isur in my heter, we can't say Ein Odom. Factually, you're eating Isur. So the man Arak explains, Master Shabbos is always Toli B'Machshava. Because if he wouldn't do it for me, if he would do it for himself, then it would be mutter for me. So it's always Toli B'Machshava. The fact that he did it for me, that renders the Isur. And therefore, Ein Odom Oisel B'Shem Shaloi. And we find this principle in Shal Shuvas Eis Ranon, Chelik Beis Or Chaim Simen Hey, Shuvas Mashag, Chelik Beis Kuf Lamed. So those people that were Machal Shabbos have no right to prevent me from using that train, because trains, like public transportation, every resident, every citizen has the right to use public transportation. It's not private, it belongs to everyone. So even the government doesn't have the right to decide to work on Shabbos and prevent us from getting on the bus or getting on the train. And to me, that's such a push at the svara. So it's not exactly the same as my servant cooking my food in my kitchen, but fundamentally it's the same. Because in every normal city, country, public transportation serves the entire community. And it is intended for everyone. So we have a right to use those trains, and the one that decided to work on Shabbos has no right to prevent us from taking advantage of what every normal human being in any city of the world has the right to use public transportation. So besides all the other svaras, that to me is reason that, yes, Jews and non-Jews were working on those trains. So going back about 20 years, one of the governments in Israel fell. I think it was in the days of Yitzhak Rabin, because the government decided to transfer huge turbines to a power plant on Shabbos. And then there was a vote of non-confidence and the government fell. That goes back many years. Same. So in that case, more room for leniency, because it's it's just carrying the turbines from one place to the other. Not a shina b'guf. So regarding the trains, sorach yun. But in my opinion, ein odom oisa dover she'ein oisa lo. And therefore, even if the government decided to work on Shabbos, they have no right to make that decision and prevent any resident in the city to use those trains.